Well, guys, I told you I was into the Street Fighter series, and I meant it. This one is Akuma. He is number 5 out of the Street Fighter 5 series by S.H.Figuarts, another one in their Fighting Body series. If you go ahead and flip the box around, you can see he's got a few different various fighting poses, his air fireball, a couple of different stances, blocking from Ryu, that kind of thing. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up the box and take a look at him and see what all is kind of inside. I still don't have a stand. I have ordered a few, so I'm hoping to start getting these in more dynamic poses, even when they don't come with a stand, because I know for a fact this line does not come with stands. So if you're looking to be able to get him in his air fireball or hurricane kick or anything like that straight out of the box, you will be unable to without a third-party stand. But without further delay, let's go ahead and get him unboxed and get started, okay? Okay guys, we went ahead and got him out of the box, and I went ahead and took the liberty of changing one of his hands. He comes with a couple of different types of hands. He comes with more of like a grip hand, which I'll go ahead and bring out here, that you can see here. It looks just like an open palm kind of grasp thing. And then his open hand here, which is more for blocking, and then the default are the fists right here. You can see he's got his face here where he kind of has that deep frown, which is indicative of Akuma as a character. He doesn't really ever smile. One of the other things he comes with is a couple of different kinds of faces. One is his slightly deeper frown face, which is very close to his normal face, which I'm not really sure where we're going with that. It seems like he went from disapproving to more disapproving, or I want to kill you, to I'm likely going to kill you, before he finally moves into, yeah, I think I'll kill you, which is the face that he has, which has him, I would imagine, is when he's doing like a dramatic punch, or a hurricane kick, or a fireball, or something of that nature. One of the other things that they did that kind of made me a bit of a liar, because I said they never come with stands. They sort of included a stand, but just for his fireball. So you can actually have his fireball flying through the air, which is cool. Why it is white on the front, I don't know. I don't recall it ever having a white point on the fireball itself ever in the video game. It was always completely like this purplish color that they have for the rest of it. So that I don't know that I'm really a big fan of currently. The other details of note is that this belt and jacket part is all one piece. That looks like it could actually come off of him, and the texture of it feels different from the rest of the character. If you go ahead and look at the beads here, you can actually see that they're loose around his neck, so they will actually move a little bit. So his necklace thing actually moves a smidge, which is good. He has solid articulation like all the rest of the ones in the line. You can move his arm all the way out like that. That's probably about as high as it'll go. Let me go ahead and grab him and move him forward a little bit so we can kind of mess with him. It'll move out like that and up and around, so we'll do an entire 360. His head has good rotation, left and right, up and down, so he does have kind of some neck rotation. You can see where this is kind of loose. He has a bit of an ab crunch, which is indicative of the line itself. You can see he can move on the elbow here, so that moves up and down like that. The joints are pretty visible, but that's not too big of a deal with this character. You can see he's got good articulation out with the leg, like that. It'll go that high. The toes actually bend in, like that, which is good. And he has some flex forward and back here. I'm not real keen on that joint being exposed, but it is what it is. You can also see he's got a little bit of side to side, giving him a little bit more posability than a lot of the others would normally have. So overall, as far as flexibility and mobility of the character, he actually looks pretty good. He's pretty indicative of what the fighter would actually be like in the game. I think his shoulder width is a little wide. His feet and his hands are fairly large, but they are in Street Fighter V anyway. That was indicative of the art style. Fireball aside, I think he's pretty good. He stands pretty well. The wide foot stance alone gives him more stability than you would see out of a lot of other figures. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get him in some poses and kind of take a look at him a little bit more and see what else we can kind of discover with this guy. So I went ahead and got him in one of his more dynamic poses. One to show you guys just how low he can make his stance, how straight he can make some of his legs, how stable he is when he kind of bends one and leaves one straight, because that's often a problem with figures like this, is they're not so stable when you try to get them in more dynamic poses. This one actually works really well. The wide foot stance, the articulation, the flex, both the left and right and up and down on the foot, makes him very stable, which is great. I also put his more claw-formed hands here on him so that you can see those as well. And it made total sense once I put them in that they would be for him shooting a fireball. Also, when you look at the fireball from the side here, like even if I go ahead and move it a little bit more like this, you can see it just looks white hot here on the front, which makes total sense because that's exactly what you would kind of want it to look like. So long as you don't look at it directly from the front, it actually looks really good. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with him as a figure, which is great because I absolutely hate him as a character in the actual fighting game. I don't like this character at all. I was even leery about picking him up. But in retrospect, I'm glad I did. He does a really, really good pose here. So I'm going to try to get him in like one or two more poses so you guys can see those two and just see how well he can kind of hold his body weight that way as well. Okay, so his leg will actually go really, really vertical, and he has great balance. I'm super shocked that he can hold his weight like this for this period of time. I actually got him in this pose, and he's been in this pose for probably 3 minutes or more. My wife came in to have a conversation, and he's just been standing there doing his thing. So if you want a character that can stay stable and kind of be able to hang there, I mean, I don't know that I would shake it very much. I mean, wow. Even shaking the table, he stays stable. So I would say that's actually pretty damn impressive for a figure. Rarely do I ever see a figure that can stand like this unassisted without the aid of some sort of stand or peg or something to widen the base on it, much less being able to shake a table and be able to keep it in that pose. So from that standpoint, this guy is an absolute rock star as far as posability goes. I can't recommend him enough if you want somebody that can hold dynamic poses. Now, these backdrops, I don't know that I'm as big a fan of that. You would really need to do some work with them to be able to get them there. Me personally, I don't really use these very much. I usually end up packing them back up. However, they are a nice addition to have. And you can see that I put one of his other faces on. How those work is they have like 3 pegs here on the back. You just pull the face off directly from the front, and then you snap the other one directly on, and that's all there is to it. I would be very careful when you do that. The head has a tendency to want to pop off, and you could lose the necklace because it is loose and it will just fall off the neck. So be very cognizant of what you're doing when you do it to make sure that you don't lose any pieces. But other than that, I think this guy's pretty awesome. I'm kind of stoked. The more I play with him, the better he gets. Which is having to make me eat some crow because I hate this guy. But he's a really fun figure. So if you're looking for more of a rock star figure out of this line that's got good posability, can do pretty much anything you want, looks just like he does out of the game, which will make you probably want to punch his face just because you own him, then I recommend you go ahead and pick him up. I'm going to get him standing next to some other people in a shot or two and just get some other random shots that you guys can see to kind of wrap up the video. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys like what I'm doing and you like where I'm going with this, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like. I would appreciate it even more if you go ahead and subscribe if you find some of my other content that you really like. And if you want to know when I post other videos, go ahead and hit the bell. That way I can let you know whenever I'm going to pop new videos up. Because I do a lot of stuff around here. I don't just do toy reviews. So there may be some other stuff that you really dig too that you're going to miss out on if you don't hit the bell. So like, subscribe, smash that bell, and let's get rolling with it, guys.